That they are better than us.
Well, that and then Chris, I mean, Brees just ran a clinic.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it was
he's why they're better.
Yeah, it was impossible to stop him.
You know what's interesting, guys, to me is, and I don't know if you guys disagree. Like everybody says, they were terrible from the start last night. I would say they were dumb from the start. I don't think they were terrible from the start. In that. Again, they forced a couple of 3-and-outs, even against how great Drew Brees was. But once you gave Drew Brees life by committing those penalties on third down, not once, not twice, but 3 times on those first 2 drives, which equaled 13 points, once you gave him that and then you started toying around with these coverage gaps and not having middle linebackers, Zach Brown, even though he's fast, and Mason Foster cover Michael Thomas on a crossing route, having Traquan Smith look like he's, I don't know, pick your Hall of Fame wide receiver. Once you started having those mistakes, you have no chance, none at all, against a good quarterback, never mind an elite, great, all-time Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. And you're right, he was absolutely carving them up.
So what is Norman's deal? Like, obviously, we could see the deterioration in play and age, and, you know, that's what happens. So I'm not surprised. But is it that he's just sort of an individual guy? So he's gonna jump routes, he's gonna do his thing, and sort of the team concept comes second for him? Is that what's really rankling the coaches? What's going on there?
I mean, I don't know exactly, but if we just take what happened last night, he sees them and Drew Brees' eyes go to the right flat, and he's reading that. And Josh is an anticipation player. He always has been, because why? He lacks speed and he lacks size. So when he anticipates, and he anticipates woefully wrong, and now teams know Geronimo Allison and the Packers did it, and Aaron Rodgers, and that's Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees did it to big-time degree last night. Now teams know this guy is looking to jump the underneath stuff. He's looking to jump this. I'll take you back to week 2 against the Saints. Against the Colts. Basically what he was trying to jump and blow up almost at the end zone of the Indianapolis Colts, and blew it up and diagnosed it perfectly against Andrew Luck and the Colts. Well, that got on tape. Now teams know, and they've always kind of known, that Josh is, again, an anticipation player, and he's guessing. And if he guesses wrong because your eyes force him to guess wrong, and Drew Brees did exactly that, then he's just going to have a coverage gap. The problem was there was no safety over the top. There was no safety over the top because they were playing a cover 3 defense, and basically he played it essentially out like a concept where you would have safety safety help over the top. And if you see, Monte Nicholson comes over way late. They even had another wide receiver on this record-breaking touchdown. Another wide receiver, Cam Meredith, running completely free and wide open down the seam on the same side of the field. I have no idea what Josh was looking at because he had 3 receivers on that side of the field. You can't be that anticipatory against that kind of route concept, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like I'm wrong because Jay benched him.
Drew gets rid of the ball quickly, and he did throw a lot of screens and short passes last night. But it's another game where the defensive line, hyped with the Alabama guys, they're just not really providing pressure.
Yeah, I mean, not enough, right? I mean, I guess early on there was a little something from Deron Payne, and Kerrigan finally got his sack, which was immediately wiped away by Monte Nicholson. And they never seemed to really get into a bunch of their pressure packages. When they did, they actually did have some success. But then when they realized, God, we can't cover these guys, I guess Minuski basically was like, well, if I can't get there and if I can't do it, I have to cover on the back end. And then they were still having coverage mistakes. I would say this about the Alabama guys. I think they're going to be fine. One thing that jumped out to me, guys, I don't know if you saw this, but Jonathan Allen grew up to be a man last night from a leadership standpoint. He got right in Monte Nicholson's face after that unnecessary roughness penalty.
Yep, he did.
After the sack. He was screaming at his team, according to Mitch Tischler from NBC Sports Washington, who's on the sideline filming the game for the television network. And they didn't show this on TV, but he was screaming at them about a lack of fundamentals. Great. And then after the game, I don't know if you saw a bunch of the quotes our old pal Brian McNally has them. I mean, a couple of curses and whatever, but basically to the point where he was so upset, so enraged at his teammates and at the lack of discipline and the lack of care and all of that stuff. To me, I think Jonathan Allen grew up to be a big-time team leader last night. That was the one and only positive I could take from a defensive perspective.